Hello everyone, and welcome back to the dojo. I am your sensei, LJ.
I am Meso.
And I'm Haley.
And this is NinjagoCast. We are the masters of Podjitsu.
Hey.
Oh boy. This week is gonna be special, ladies and germs.
Yes, it is. A few primers before we start. Number one, I'm actually with Haley right now in person, so we're sharing a microphone. If there's audio discrepancies, that'll be why. Number two, I'm fighting a headache, so if there's personality discrepancies, that'll be why.
Oh, great. Just don't do that thing where you, get real close to the microphone and start yelling all angrily.
I'm probably not going to do that
yeah.
just because I don't know the volume of Haley's mic. I don't want to, kill your ears. I'm probably going to stay at this distance all the way through.
Sweet sauce.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So, how's everyone's week been? How's everyone's Ninjago week been?
Who else is watching Ninjago on Netflix now? Because Netflix is awesome.
So,
Woo!
Haley
I
and
am.
marathoning. We just finished
Yay!
Skybound.
Skybound, which is probably the best season, not gonna lie. People are now realizing that because they're rewatching
I
it.
mean,
Remember how
listen,
good it
I
is?
realized it
Skybound is
before it was
legit.
cool.
Yeah, but people who watch it and then they get to the finale and they're like, oh my gosh, the finale was absolutely horrible. I don't like this season anymore. And then they forget all the good things.
The finale
But-
is the biggest
so
issue
good.
with Skybound, but
Wait till you get to it. Wait till you get to it and you get
yes,
to rewatch it because it's great.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Still has issues, but yeah, I did have a realization about that, and that's I think one of the reasons why it used to bother me was, it took away, development that the ninja had during the season. If they can't remember the events, they can't learn from them. Nobody but Jay and Nia had development that season. They were all filler characters. Jay and Nia, they maintained their development, ergo, it's alright.
Exactly.
Anyway, this week, LJ, what do we got?
So
What do we got in store?
The 100th episode!
98th episode.
The 100th episode
98th
in
episode.
history made!
98.
Episode 98, the 100th episode. Welcome to Ninjago.
it's so confusing. It's so uncertain.
I'm annoyed. Full disclosure, I'm annoyed.
Okay, so before we begin, before we really get into the meat and potatoes of this,
Oh boy.
there is a comment from last week's episode we do need to address. And it is pertaining
Yes.
to our conversation on Spinjitzu.
Air
And
Jitsu.
Cyclondo, whatever.
Fair. I'll give you that.
Listen, it has been a very long and tiresome day, and I'm sure Mess is going to be like, oh, has it now? But,
I'm alright. I've had fun today.
okay,
it
good.
was fun.
I've had fun,
We
too.
built the monastery today. Monastery's a great set, by the way. It was
Yeah.
really, really fun to build.
Good. You lost leg of a
So.
sale, though, by letting Meso help you. Because now he'll never
What?
play.
Bingo.
Oh my god.
I'm the kind of person, if I can just build the set, I don't care about having it,
All right.
I got the
Yeah.
experience.
So, 4 days ago, we were having a conversation about air jitsu. And not 4 days ago, necessarily, but you get my point. And Tommy Anderson answered our question. He was kind enough to leave a comment regarding it, and he says the following. Hi, Meso. To put your frustrations about air jitsu to rest, you'll notice that anytime a ninja has used air jitsu in the series, he/she launches off of a surface. The ninja are plummeting to their death several times during possession after they have learned it too without using it, landing on a ship in Cloud Kingdom and saved by Ronin in the Caves of Despair. Air jitsu is not flying, it's a spinjitzu leap. The only offender has been in the Dark Island books where Wu did it. I did the outline of that story together with Kenneth Bond and Tommy Kalmar, and Greg Farshti, wrote it. I wasn't involved in the proofing of the book, or I would have caught that. And besides, Wu doesn't know air jitsu, so there's that. I'm not saying whether the ninja can or cannot do air jitsu at this point, but they don't do it. There will be an explanation for it in Way of the Departed, but I will remain non-canon until I finish it. It will remain non-canon until I finish it, and we'll see if LEGO wants to publish and canonize it. And by the way, our canon is rock solid. If something looks like a hole, it's because there's a piece of the puzzle you don't have yet. I can't tell who's clapping.
That's Haley.
That's me,
I would never
of course.
applaud for this.
Well, I'm applying to Tommy because the best part is that Tommy's right. I really do enjoy his response about Airjitsu, but there is actually one more offender.
The best part is that Tommy's right.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for leaving the comment. I greatly appreciate it. Number one, that you watch, and number two, that you're willing to share insight into your headspace when creating the theme. I'm very grateful for that. I do appreciate it. However, I do have several grievances for discussion's sake.
Mm-hmm.
Although one of them might not actually be that bad. Like, Haley, you realize something.
Yes, the one grievance other than Wu using Airjitsu in the Dark Island trilogy is actually the first time the ninja used Airjitsu in the field, which was in Peekaboo episode...
Whatever. Peekaboo and Possession.
I think that's 49. And 49. Thank you, Magic. And that's when the ninja are on top of the peaks and they jump off the icicle to use Airjitsu in midair to get to the top of the peak. However, even though they do it in midair, I will give it to Tommy because there was a major updraft that from like the Wailing Alps that were pushing the ninja upwards, and they just needed an extra like leap off of that updraft to do it. That's the only thing I can think of that could like kind of battle it. But other than that, we watched part of Skybound today. Whenever they did Airjitsu, they were clearly on something before they leaped up.
Cole has a thing where he like falls off the icicle and then does it midair.
All four of them do it.
I'm actually willing. Cole's is the most egregious.
Yeah.
I think that I'm willing to forgive it though, because it could be inferred that he like pushed off of the icicle to hang in the air, activate it, and then like was carried upward partially by the updraft and also by the Airjitsu.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little tricky with physics. It was a little bit poorly conveyed, but I can accept it, you know.
Yeah.
And this does provide a rationale for why they don't use it.
Mm-hmm.
Why they didn't, you know. So then my venue kind of changes. Like one dumb question just creates another, because now I'm back to why didn't they use it when they were chasing Mr. E up the building. But again, like I said last week, I can forgive that because it was in service of a cool action scene. This go around, my biggest grievance was that they were going to use a death of a ninja in a scenario where it wouldn't make any sense. But this explanation, I accept it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually do.
I'm waiting for the however.
There's no however. I actually accept it.
Okay.
The however were the moments where they break it, but I can explain those away. There are things you can say about those. And I also find it funny how Greg was
Greg got thrown under the freaking bus. that hurts my soul.
Yep.
Greg
Sorry,
not knowing
Greg.
his Ninjago.
You read a great book series, but I mean, the same thing with Braggy though. So Braggy's made a couple of errors too, but I mean.
Okay. All right. Greg.
So my biggest beef is the ending point. You know, our canon is rock solid. If it appears like there's a hole, it's just because there's a piece of the puzzle you don't know yet. I respect the confidence. I very much respect the confidence in your story, and perhaps that is true in overarching threads and plots and the general mythos. Even though I don't necessarily believe that, I can give that the benefit of the doubt. However, what that basically means is that if there's one plot hole that can be discovered in Ninjago that cannot be explained, then there you go. It's not rock solid. So I'm just going to name one off the top of my head. There's a scene in Possession where I think someone was cornered by ghosts. I think it was Nia or Cole or somebody.
Yeah.
Lloyd comes along and blasts the ghosts with his elemental green power, and they disintegrate like they would with water. Why can he do that? Why can Lloyd kill ghosts? There's like a billion more plot holes I could bring up. I could talk about wrong place, wrong time, and how some remember it, and like Lloyd doesn't. I could talk about any number of things, but for discussion's sake, I'll just leave that one.
Yeah.
So,
what I do like about that comment is that there's more to be discovered. The way that he worded it was that there's more for us to discover about the canon.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited for, how they're going to reveal that. So.
Ditto.
But yeah, because I mean, at least they've kind of explained some stuff. I would like them to maybe explain Cole's powers, because I feel like that's one thing that they could expand on that they haven't. His when I say his powers, I mean like his
Use your lava arms.
or his earth punch or whatever we want to call it.
Lava arms.
But other than that, lava arms. But
I
yeah.
like that Way of the Departed. Like, please, Tommy, try to get Way of the Departed canonized.
Oh, yes, please.
I've not read it myself yet. I'm waiting for it to be done. I'm sure it's exemplary, and I like that if you'll use it as a venue to answer questions and expand the world and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just do your best to get it canonized, because I'm sure it's a good piece of writing, and I don't see any reason why it couldn't be, considering how closely involved you are in the developmental process. All it would literally take is like Braggy giving it the thumbs up, and it would make the fans very happy to have another piece of canon material.
I don't know if that's all it would take. I'm reasonably
It
confident
totally
it
would.
needs to go
They
through
might
a
have to go
variety of
through
legal filters.
Bah.
Heck, they could make it a graphic novel too.
Yeah, they can go on the mural instead of Day of the Departed.
Oh my!
This is the day
God.
you won't
This is the
remember.
way of the departed. It gets a mural. The other one did. Okay.
Okay, so with
I'll
that out
just
of
go
the
ahead
way,
and send this on.
well, let's apologize preemptively for this episode.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry
I
for
am-
what you're about to listen to. I'm going to echo a quote from our 10th anniversary review of Bionicle 3 Web of
I
Shadows.
hate that video.
If you came here to listen to a fun discussion about this episode and people loving it in good times and good cheer, you're going to get that from one of us.
Well, you'll get that. Yeah, that's fair. Unbridled.
Not from the other two of us.
The other two of us are going to be a
Well,
little
yeah.
split between pure cynicism and deluded apathy. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go about this, guys, in a very respectful and polite manner that will very possibly be exaggerated for the sake of entertainment. Just keep that in mind. We are doing this because it is fun. I have watched through a ton of Ninjago recently. I feel very positively about it. Let me tell you, Ninjago is a show that is worth your time to watch again in one sitting.
Yes.
There are going to be spoilers for this episode, so if you don't want to know what happens, don't continue listening to this episode of NinjagoCast.
As well as all of March of the Oni and all of Ninjago Masters of Spinjitzu as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Just gotta
let's
clarify.
yes.
There will be spoilers for Skybound. There will be spoilers
Might as well.
for. There'll be
So-
spoilers for the pilots. I'll say that.
We
If you
are
haven't seen the
going to-
pilots, go watch the pilots.
We are going to go ahead and start. Brief recap of episode 98 or 100 or 101, depending on who you ask. Endings.
100.
98.
Holy crud.
What is 101?
Day of the Departed.
Day of the Departed is not an episode.
It's not an
what makes you
episode.
It's not an episode. It's a special.
Just joking. Go on else.
Okay. Anyway,
Continue.
let's go ahead and start.
I know what you're talking
Because
about.
Meso was obviously unable to provide me with GIFs, I have instead opted to screen share the episode itself. So I'm just gonna be skipping around, so you'll see my mouse here, and I apologize if that's annoying. Okay, so
Very clever. We should probably do that anyways.
I told you I had a backup plan.
See, I expected you would do like anti-coal propaganda.
I mean,
Just don't skip
the fuck,
Cole
so-
scene.
that's gonna be next time. Wink.
No.
All right.
No.
Oh, yeah. So, episode starts off, and we have Cole announcing the episode for the first time for the last time. So, we get a brief recap of the last episode, obviously. So, starts off, and we find out what happened in the Dragon and Oni realm. The Oni came. The dragons were useless. It had no effect on the Oni whatsoever. So much for Dragon and Oni, it was just Oni and other people. So, what's her name? Faith wakes up. She's like, I came here to warn you. Why, fudge, where am
came
I?
here to
And
warn
Wu's
you.
like, you were wise to flee. Because she fled. She's the only one that made it out. Firstborn, by the way, is nowhere to be seen. We saw her in the first episode of March of the Oni, and she's just gone. That was the last time we saw her. So, Ninja arrived back at the monastery. They're like, we lost him. He's gone. Who is gone? I don't know. So, they prepare for stuff to do. Garmadon chucks around the giant golden armor, and apparently Wu can hold it, Garmadon can hold it, which we already knew, and Kai can hold it. That's all of the golden weapons, and they're just fine. They're not going poof. Whatever. So Kai gets to work. All right, time to be a blacksmith for once since the first episodes. Tink, tink, tink. And he makes the golden weapons, and they're super neat and cool to match the sets. This entire set is officially canon as not only a legacy set, but March of the Oni set. So the Oni are on their way.
Skeleton.
Can it? So the Oni are on their way, and the ninja are like, all right, we got golden weapons, we got our powers, let's rock and roll. And of course, Nia, the murderer of Cole, ends up getting his weapon because that's just salt in the wounds. Speaking of Cole, he wakes up and he's like, I'm fine, and I'm in a building, even though last time I fell on the sidewalk, presumably.
No, untrue. No, he landed in the same spot. I checked.
Okay.
She thought the same thing.
Yeah.
All right.
It's weird.
I'll take your word for it. So he's like, I got this little thingamabob. It's broken. Time to do something. And he takes his handy-dandy pair of scissors, taps it a couple of times. Voila! It works. Now, I thought that this was some kind of a thing to call the other ninja. It's not. It's something to call the limo! His drill! So he runs outside, spinjitzu! Oh no, something's happening! Oh gosh, what's happening? I don't know, he makes it. He's fine. So we cut back to the ninja at the monastery, and the Oni are coming up. There are a lot more of them than we last saw, and the ninja are like, alright, we got our weapons. This is gonna be the final battle. Nothing is going to get past us. Close the gate. We're all ready. And antics are delayed. Ensue! Jay jumps in! Wham! Bam! Alright, everyone's fighting. Elemental powers are flying. Nia's like, oh no, I can't use the weapon of the person I murdered. It's not listening to me. I'm not the Elemental Master of Earth. I killed the Elemental Master of Earth. Ah! And they're all flailing around, and it's crazy. And then they're getting surrounded. And oh no, what are we gonna do? Deus Ex Cole! He comes in. Wham! I'm alive, everyone. Pow! He drops the everyone. He just takes that scythe. He's like, ha! Murder me again, suckers! I have relevance! Boom! Spinjitzu! Things are happening. People are flying. And then Garmadon's like, I need to get uglier than I was before. Bam! I have a mask now! Ha ha ha! Fear me and my thick eyebrows! And he starts going wild with his own staff because somehow he just suddenly transformed, and we don't have any explanation as to why other than he's tapped into his Oni side. So then he fights off against Omega, and it's super awesome. The ninja are surrounded. They don't know what to do, and they're thinking, oh man, we really wish Dareth were here. So ninja end up getting pushed back. They end up going into the monastery. They end up blocking or barricading the gate. Cole uses his lava arms. They're still there. We still don't know what they do. And the ninja are like, what are we gonna do? And then all of a sudden, Jay is like, Nia, will you not marry me, but marry me anyway, please? And Nia's like, okay, yeah, sure. And so they're now married, but not married, but yang, you know,
Accurate
you get the
to how that scene played out and the amount of screen time and focus it got. Go on.
So they managed to get that all squared away. Ninja trying to figure out what to do. Lloyd is like, all right, let's figure out what to do here. I've got it! Relevance to the first few episodes! Garmadon, you're here. Yeah, you're here. All right, let's do a giant spinjitzu tornado of creation. I don't know why he looked at Garmadon other than to see the 4 golden weapons if he wasn't going to just give them to Garmadon. They have them. He could have just looked to the side and been like, oh, hey, we have those now. Perfection. They have no relevance to the tornado creation. So whatever. Lloyd's like, we got to just do a giant tornado creation. Everyone has to help out. You too, Daddy-O. And so they start spinning. It's like, all right, new effects! And they're spinning, and Garmadon's like, no, I don't want to join your silly little spin club. But then he's like, okay, I'm gonna join your silly little spin club. And a giant tornado of creation! Because the logic here is, if they have a tornado creation, it is repelling the Oni's destruction. Which is a really smart kind of counteraction. Everything is white. White. Black.
Important movies.
Wow, it's so beautiful. Lloyd wakes up. he's in some sort of a
Chima.
grassy plain. Shut up. He sees a dragon. He's like, are you from Lego Elves? Is this where you went?
What's the Bionicle world in 08 where everything's
Carden, wait.
He's in
Oh my gosh. So Lloyd's like, well, what the heck's going on?
I thought the dragon was a legend beast.
Yeah.
When he first came in frame.
All right.
I was like,
I'm almost done. So Lloyd is in this grassy plain. He sees the dragon, and then it's the first Spinjitzu master, and he doesn't have a face because, okay, he doesn't have a face. So they talk, and the first Spinjitzu master is like, "You're so good. You're awesome. You did a good job, Montgomery. Hey, you want to come along with me? Listen, I'll give you two options. You can take either the red pill or the blue pill. If you take the red pill, then you stay in Ninjago. Wait, no. If you take the blue pill, you stay in Ninjago. You be with your friends. If you take the red pill, then I will show you the world." And it looks like Lloyd takes the red pill, and he's like, "All right, I'll come with you." Meanwhile, back on Earth, the clouds part, the smoke fades, everyone is saved. We see Borg Tower, which has been nothing but a problem this entire series. But everyone's alive, Borg is alive, we are all good. The Oni have officially been defeated. And we see the other realms that were affected, that we saw get affected, be fine as well. Except for Chima, we didn't see Chima get affected yet. So we see the golden weapons, they kind of lose their shine. The ninja are just everywhere, they're scattered like a house of cards in the wind. Everyone's like, everyone's okay, right? Nope, wrong. It's Lloyd. He's lying under a bunch of rubble, and he's not breathing. Guys, he's not breathing. Sensei Wu, is there anything you can do? Do something, Wu, do! There is nothing
Master
I can
Wu,
do.
we love that dude.
There's nothing I can do. He is dead. And that is right, everyone. Lloyd officially dies.
What?
Psych! Gotcha! Nope. Everything is okay, everyone. No need to panic. Lloyd is alive. He starts breathing again despite having no pulse. And Garmadon's like, "I have no reaction to this. I'm just going to walk off." And Wu is like, "Why are you just going to walk off?" And Garmadon's like, "Eh." We don't know where Lloyd went. He starts saying, "But the first Spinjitzu master, where am I?" And the other's like, "Lloyd's be crazy. Am I right?" And they carry him off to have some tea. Garmadon's like, "Peace out." Wu is like, "Smile." And Garmadon's like, eyebrow raise. And so the ninja end up doing some hand painting, or finger painting rather, where they put their claw hands in some paint and make a nice, intricate symbol to symbolize their friendship. And it takes the place that otherwise Day of the Departed would have gone. And there they are, all happy, and the episode in the season end.
So,
Oh, Dareth was there! Dareth was there too! He's gonna be a ninja, confirmed!
And Ronan was
he already
there,
is a
and
ninja.
Carla.
He's the brown ninja. So, before I even say anything, I just want to say, I get why this episode exists. And you know what? There's people out there who this episode is made for. I'm sitting next to one of them. It's an episode for the fans. It's an episode to make you smile. It's an episode that, it's a very feel-good kind of finale where they have a lot of nostalgic throwbacks and everything comes full circle and there's a lot of cool action and jokes, and you get this feeling, you're supposed to get this feeling of the characters all coming together to do the impossible, and you're rooting for them to succeed. And when they pull it off, you feel good because you're like, yes, these characters, they did it. I'm not one of those people who has that emotion. This entire episode, save 3 scenes, was lost on me because of a myriad of reasons. I honestly don't even know where to start. I have so much to unpack. So let's start with something I read in the comments of the patron chat. How Kai apparently used Cole's Scythe of Quakes at one point in the show. Is that true?
Yes, he does.
Okay,
he used it in the very first episode.
So Kai can use it, but Nia can't.
Well, I mean, Kai is one of the ninja of creation, so maybe that kind of
That doesn't mean anything anymore.
But
They
all
formed the
count
tornado of
now
creation.
because they were
Yeah.
all involved in a giant tornado of creation.
Yeah. So I don't know why Nia. Maybe she just didn't want to use it, or because she never really did anything with it. She was just kind of holding it up in the air, and that's not how you use the
probably
scythe
her
of
guilt.
quakes.
Her guilt was
But-
like keeping her from using it or
Mhm.
whatever.
Like, I'm sure if she slammed it into the ground, it
What?
would have actually done something, but she never did slam it into the ground.
God,
So-
this episode's so weird. There's like a million things to talk about.
Let's take it one step at a time. Let's go
let's
ahead.
start at the very first scene.
Yes, let's roll.
What was the
wait.
first scene? The Oni and the Dragon Realm?
Yes. Is the only
Fate
dragon
comes
realm.
back for a
I
little
love
bit of introduction
the
dialogue.
point you made, LJ, about how I guess the dragons just suck. It's like, aren't they supposed to be like super powerful, the antithesis to the Oni,
The
and they were like
firstborn
in a
is,
war
but,
with the Oni?
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, they had time to prepare, so maybe they were like extra powerful for some reason. But
Maybe the dragons got hunted so much by
Yeah.
the dragon hunters, their numbers have been cut.
I
Like,
can-
it didn't
I can
seem like they were
accept
doing
that.
anything.
yeah,
At the same time,
Yeah.
it did legitimately seem like the dragons were entirely useless. Like they made no dents in the Oni.
well, firstborn did. Firstborn flew through one of the smoke at one point, so she's able
Yeah,
to.
The ninja have
something,
cut the
but-
smoke before too, so
Yeah, but the other dragons couldn't. Like, while the other dragons couldn't, she did. So
It's also like I feel that they ran out of budget for the Oni, especially on the first scene, especially when compared to Omega and the Oni's grand entrance before, with all the smoke and the shadow and the visual effects. This time they just kind of popped out of like a black circle, and we're like, yeah, we're here now. The visual effects were dramatically downscaled, and they don't look near as threatening in the light of day. They're way more threatening in the darkness. They kind of look stupid when they're just walking around in broad daylight with Omega's giant horns and their ludicrous proportions. But whatever. Faith is around. She's all right. The ninja come talk to Wu, and that was a fine scene.
Prentice just now Omega with that Thanos portal entrance, though.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
true.
pretty much. That's basically what it was. But the scene with Wu in the monastery, I can get behind it. I don't have too many issues with that. The agreement about Cole, they explained the plan. He's like, we got to do it. Like, they clearly portrayed Wu as someone who doesn't have any idea what to do anymore. He's at the end of his rope, and I respect that because that means the ninja now take full autonomy, and they can't rely on a wise mentor character anymore. They're their own people now,
You say that now.
which I appreciate.
Who knows?
Who knows what's coming?
Ninja, there's something I haven't told you.
Oh, dear Lord, please.
Season 11.
Please, no.
There's
I
an
had
ice
another
emperor.
pupil.
There's another pupil.
So that was a fine scene. What was the scene after that? Was it
the
Cole
scene after that
No,
was
it
the
was,
forging.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the forging montage.
Kai
and
did
then
not say his line.
Kai did not say the line, which was kind of sad. I mean, that was just something that I wanted, but it would have been the perfect tie. The line, of course, of to forge the perfect weapon, one must have, the right metal and plenty of heat, something like that. But he did wear his blacksmith clothes, which totally makes up for it. That's even better, I think, because it was his minifigure that we first saw him in doing the work. So.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. That was also a good scene, although I do find it ludicrous how, like, after not doing blacksmithing for 8 years, he just does it, like, immediately and forges the perfect weapons.
Mm-hmm.
But, they didn't really have the time or the resources to show him struggle with it.
Yeah, I can suspend my disbelief for that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have new weapons every season. So.
I freaking died when he handed the scythe to Nia, because I
Um.
predicted that was going to happen, and I've been trolling Haley about it for days. And the moment he did it, I was like, yes, the murderer
Yeah.
gets the weapon. Let's do it.
I was like, Cole would have wanted you to have this. I'm like, no, he would not. I mean, sure, he probably would have, but no. Stop
Give
it.
it to Lloyd before Nia.
Yeah, fair.
Give it to Dareth. Dareth, the scythe
No.
quakes.
That's a great idea, actually.
Give it to Wu. He'd
Give it to
Wu,
Dareth.
his son.
So, after that, Cole wakes up. He is fine. Like, the fall, I
Yeah,
can
he's fine.
forgive. I
Yeah.
legitimately can forgive the fall.
Yeah,
But-
he's the master of Earth. He does have super strength, so sure, I'll give him
I
that.
can't forgive
Super
either.
strength
But go on.
doesn't equate to super durability. However, I will again suspend disbelief for his falling. But why does the cloud not affect him? I don't know if this is one of the missing puzzle pieces that we don't have yet, or if it's just
No. It was just a poor cut. It's all it was. The scene at the end of the last episode with the smoke reaching close to him. Like, the cloud is one thing, but the tendrils were like right up on him in the last episode. Not touching him, but they were pretty close. They were like an inch away from him when the screen got covered. When in this episode, he wakes up and he has like a second or two, and they're farther away. And there's also not as thick of a cloud cover, of smoke cover. I think you can chalk that up to just an editing error or a scene composition.
I think it's just a dramatic thing.
A suspense thing.
Yeah,
the problem with it is the excuse I've heard already from like the patron chat and from like YouTube comments is it's the kind of thing. Cole's death would be way better when you watch this in block as a movie like it's intended. I actually completely disagree. And I think it would be even worse if you watched it back to back because the scenes would be so close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I'm not like foaming at the mouth about this right now is because I had a week in between episodes to reason out he was probably going to be alive because they had that little shot of him moving at the very end. But if you watch that back to back, you lose that introspection. So it just kind of goes from them playing up a very dramatic death to him just waking up with absolutely no injury, head trauma, grogginess, consequences, Oni petrification. He's just okay. And he's just quipping like immediately. He's talking to himself and cracking jokes and figuring stuff out. He's not like struggling at all. He's not hurt. He's not anything.
Yeah, the point where he's struggling is when he's in the cloud when he's trying to get to his drill thing.
Yeah.
That's the part that I'm confused about.
Well, I don't think it will. It's like it's toxic for him, so he would eventually die. He won't turn into a stone until the tendrils actually grab him. Like the tendrils will turn him to a stone.
The differentiating between the tendrils and the smoke is completely arbitrary, but yes, the tendrils are what does it.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose.
Because Lloyd, he was choking at first when he came down, but then he was fine because he's part Oni. But Cole's completely human, so it would have killed him if he was out there for too long. But
I don't know. I want to talk about Cole more later in the season as a whole, but for now, I will say that I cannot accept either him surviving and not being hurt by fall damage, or him not being touched by the tendril despite the scene before showing it like right up on him. Both are pushing the boundaries of my suspension of disbelief, especially the fall damage, because you can't have it both ways. On last week's podcast, I was like, why do the ninja think Cole's dead? They're going to save everyone from the tendrils. And then the response was they were worried about the fall hurting him, not about the tendrils. So if they operate under the assumption that falling will kill you, then why did falling not kill him?
Yeah. And I mean, the one argument is that he fell in the news building, which looked like might have been elevated, but Cole never ran downstairs to get to ground level to get his car. So
wait,
I don't know.
No, he did. Didn't he?
Ran down a whole bunch of stairs? I don't remember him running down a whole bunch of stairs.
He obviously wasn't on the first floor, I don't think.
Well, he might have been. They might have just cut his running down the whole bunch of stairs because I think he just ran to the desk and then he ran to the window. But
point being, I'm fine with stakes being there. I'm even fine with like a death fake out. I wish they wouldn't do it, but I understand it. They've done it before with Zane, and it happened too close to proximity, and I don't know, the reasons why they thought he was dead don't add up, and the editing was poor. It just didn't work. It was a colossal misfire on basically all fronts.
I also have some more words on this later, but we should move along.
Yes.
All right. So what's the next scene after that?
So the Oni are
actually,
coming up.
I did like that line. I will say one thing quickly for that scene with Cole. I did enjoy him talking to himself because it was a nice callback to Sons of Garmadon when he was aware that he was talking to himself, and but he was very funny. I enjoyed it, his little banter and stuff.
I forgot about that, talking to himself in Sons of Garmadon.
Yeah, he's very aware that he talks to himself, and he made it aware twice. Where why are you saying this to yourself, Cole? But
that's great.
But yeah, so. Kudos to Cole. And then now we're going back to the monastery, where they're now all the random civilians that run up the entire monastery somehow.
all like 6 of them.
All 6 of them. We have to save everyone.
Random guy. Misako's there.
Yeah. So And they're all standing out front. Like, this
Yeah.
is like Tournament of Elements. Might as well just draw a line on the ground and say, gotta hold the line, hold the line.
I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but like while Misako was relevant, I don't want Misako to be in things. I want her to die, but if she was gonna be there, she can do Spinjitzu.
Yeah.
Have her join the Tornado of Creation.
Did she not?
Well, yeah.
She
Not.
didn't.
She was protecting the people with Skylar. Was it Skylar? No, it was Pixel and some other one. But
So anyway, yeah, the ninja form up and they're like, "Hey, we got our weapons."
yeah.
And the Oni admittedly have this very cool entrance where they're walking up the steps and you just see the giant mass of them as they circle around. There's just one really great shot where they're coming up on the ninja and then you see them just wind all the way down the staircase.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely excellent. And it really gets, the tension going. And you're like, how are the ninja possibly going to defeat these guys? And it's the classic tried and true, when you have a giant army, the power levels get turned down shtick, which I'm so sick of at this point in media. I wish they would stop doing it. But
Well, I saw that shot and I was like, Cole is totally going to be driving up the staircase and just knocking them all off.
it ruins
But,
power
yeah.
scaling. Garmadon in one episode had trouble fighting 2 of them.
Yeah.
And now, not only can the ninja fight hordes of them, but Garmadon can fight like dozens.
But the fight fuels him.
Oh my god. He was already fueled! He was already fueled
he
up!
can keep getting fueled up. He has his true potential back.
Oh, dear lord.
His true potential apparently is not a pretty sight.
And also, the ninja, like, don't use their elemental powers. Like, I think Zane's the only one who channels them through the golden weapons. I could be wrong. I could be misremembering. Someone
But,
please
yeah,
correct me if
plus
I am.
Cole.
Zane freezes one of them, but Kai just like swings his sword. He doesn't like shoot fire. Nia obviously doesn't, and Jay doesn't either. I think he just hit him with nunchucks, which was kind of lame actually. That's probably one of my larger critiques, if you can believe it. Even though it doesn't matter that much for the writing, but they made a big deal out of the golden weapons, and they were very underwhelming, at least in presentation. Incidentally, Cole's was the only cool one.
Yeah.
And that was just because of his entrance.
Well, did the golden weapons even do anything?
Not really.
So they build the golden weapons for what?
Well, they acted as Oni repellent. Like, there are a few scenes where they're, like, kind of backing away from them. But I expected them to, like, carve through the Oni like butter. Obviously not that brutal for a kid's show.
Yeah,
but,
like they would go poof or something.
yeah, just go, like, poof in black smoke clouds. So you actually felt the weight of the blows. But they were just, like, regular freaking weapons. Like, they weren't cool at all.
So...
which I acknowledge is a subjective thing. You guys might have found them cool, but I did not.
I mean, I like them in so much as they exist and they are neat concepts. I also agree, I don't really know what the point was outside of the interconnectivity with the set. Like, from a narrative perspective, I don't get it. Like, I get the idea behind it. The Oni don't really like them, but it doesn't matter at this point. And they don't really play much of a role. It felt kind of...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think which brings us to the bigger part was the nostalgia. Which is like the heart of this episode. They brought the golden weapons back because 100 episodes.
Essentially.
98 episodes.
There's the...
And I guess for the Tornado of Creation.
And the Tornado of Creation is also... And the first Spinjitzu Master.
Do you need the golden weapons to do the Tornado of Creation?
I think so.
I mean, they never did it after the golden weapons were destroyed, so...
Well, they've also never called their dragons in,
Yeah,
recently,
I mean, well, fair,
after they stopped using them, I guess. And they don't need the golden weapons for that either. So they kind of just drop things sometimes.
Yeah, But, I mean, I don't know.
I accept that you need the golden weapons to do it.
Yeah, I would say that is something that they could canonize, where they need the golden weapons.
If that is the case, then I'm on board. That's fine. That makes a lot of sense.
No, they probably do, because creation, those are the element blades of creation, and those created Ninjago, the weapons, not the first Spinjitzu Master. So in order to create a Tornado of Creation, to create something, you probably do need the weapons, because they're like a vessel to do it somehow. So
I will accept that. I can perfectly get behind that.
But yeah, I think that's something they could totally do.
Cole had a great entrance
Cole had the best entrance.
with some good Ninjago slow-mo for a change.
Which is unfortunately rare. Will Film, they do amazing work. Their animation is absolutely spectacular. They cannot be praised enough. They need to find somebody who gets slow-mo. Like, I can imagine the slow-mo parts the more difficult to animate, which makes it disappointing that they're used in really bizarre instances. This was not one of the bizarre instances. This was proper.
Yeah, they have a couple of really good instances, and then they have a couple of like
weird ones,
like moments where
like
you're
jumping over a car,
or Misako being flipped in like super slow motion, and what is it, Sons of Garmadon or something?
Oh yes,
that was
Misako.
But no, and then Cole's line, "You can't get rid of me that easily."
Unfortunately, we cannot. But I will get rid of your reputation next episode.
Wow.
Not that there's much there to begin with.
Big reputation.
No Taylor Swift in this podcast.
But no, it was good. And I love how what was it? Jay was trying to find her the right word to call him or something.
You jerk!
Jerk! What did he do?
They felt like they brushed over Cole coming back incredibly quickly, which I actually don't have a problem with in the context of the scene because they're a little busy.
Yeah.
I only have a problem with it in the context of the audience making us think that Cole died in the first place. If there wasn't going to be a lot of emotional payoff, why bother? Like, I expected them to maybe have a scene where they actually talk about Cole and how cool he was. Nope. And, like, in memorial of him, like, maybe they look at the mural, like Haley was suggesting, and they're like, oh, we got to remember Cole. He may not be front and center, but he was always in the background helping us. I can't believe he's gone. Or even, like, an emotional reunion when he's back. But they just kind of brush over it, so I'm left. Again, we'll talk more about that later, but it just leaves this hollow vibe of what was even the point. But they start fighting. They start doing the Oni battle, and it's all right. It's not a spectacular fight, but the Garmadon has some great moments. He has like a ground pound, which is cool. He starts fighting Omega, and then the most bizarre thing ever happens.
All you Lord Garmadon meme makers, you just got the ultimate one.
It's been hours, and I still don't really get what happened. But Garmadon says, "Time for me to do something, or time for me to get this."
Time for him to flip his luck switch or something.
Maybe. And
don't desecrate the good word of the luck switch, heathen.
He powers up. And he's like, I need a staff of my own. And he magics a staff just like Omega's out of nowhere. And he transforms his face. Like he's wearing an Oni mask, but it's still overlaid over Garmadon's face. So it just looks like Garmadon's face with like fat, puffy cheeks. And he has horns and like a weird chin. And I don't get what they were trying to imply with that. Like, I feel maybe they're trying to say that's his true form. But if that's the case, why didn't he come out in his true form when he got resurrected?
Yeah.
Like, if he can... okay, they're shapeshifters, which they never did anything substantial with, by the way. I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop with that. Never once did I think they forgot that they were shapeshifters, except in these very specific instances.
You know Ninjago and their shapeshifting antics.
Yeah, I do.
They do it once, and they're like, they can shapeshift.
But I guess what they're trying to say is Garmadon was just altering his form, kind of like Mistake, except Mistake did it for a reason. She did it to hide. Garmadon still looks like an Oni when he's like this.
I think the implication was, and it was kind of
Oni.
It was kind of the point that Omega was making, was Garmadon was tapping into being his full Oni self. But at the end of the day, he's not full Oni. I don't believe.
Yeah, that's what they were implying.
He's only partially Oni, and Omega was saying you are Oni in form only, but you desire to be human, and that's what's holding you back. So
I got the implication. It was just weird because when he was revived, supposedly full Oni, I guess it didn't work. We can chalk that ritual up to a failure.
Well, the whole ritual it's still a little weird, honestly. Because, I don't know, it hasn't really, as far as I'm aware, been explained fully, but whatever.
Never satisfactorily to me. Like, there's still an Oni mask just chilling out there. I forget which one it was, but there's still one in the world that never got accounted for. I think it was Mr. E's,
Mr. E,
ironically.
yeah. The Mask of
Those relics don't really make much sense. Basically, it was just weird. I got the symbolism, and it was well done. Garmadon had good development. They did good work with him. I just couldn't stop laughing at how weird he looked the whole way through.
The eyebrows, though. Those
cheeks
eyebrows
and
are
the
on
eyebrows
fleek, yo.
He couldn't do his chin.
It was supposed to be super menacing, but I was just laughing.
We're gonna get so many Garmadon memes. So many.
Yeah. It was kind of.
They all get owned, and they're like,
gosh.
"We gotta retreat back to the monastery."
Yeah, they bail. They all bail.
This is horrific. Who thought this was a good idea? Yeah. Yeah. They bail back to the monastery, and then another thing happens. They're like, we need to seal the door. Cole, use your lava arms. It's like
This is just accepted now. He has them. He had them in Day of the Departed, which isn't counted as an actual episode. It's a special, but it's been so imperative to most of what Cole does, and it's never been properly or even attempted to be explained.
By them.
All it's being used for is I don't know, a heavy thing lifter.
Extra strength, yeah.
Cole used to be super strong.
Yeah.
That used to be his thing.
Yes,
these are,
that
like,
is correct.
Insanely strong.
Now
I've
it's been
taken
relegated
notes
to
on this.
power up.
Yeah. Well, there is I mean, that hasn't been fully explained, but I do have a theory about it that is kind of sound. But
Say it real quick.
all right, in few words or less, the ninja had to unlock their true potentials, and they only had their weapons to do so. So when they lost the weapons, therefore, technically they lost their true potential. So the law with true potential is they have to unlock something within their own heart or get over something. And in Day of the Departed, the moment that Cole realized that he wasn't alone and that he was stronger with others, yada, 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 that he wasn't forgotten, was the moment he unlocked his lava arms. And, so therefore, Cole might be the only ninja that has unlocked his true potential without his weapons.
I'm actually
which
fairly on board with that. That was kind of along the lines of something I was thinking about when I was rationaling why they have their powers missing most of the time.
Yeah.
It's very on point.
Yeah, and it's very close to what his true potential looked like in his RX suits?
NRG.
NRG, yeah, his NRG. So it's very close to that. Which means, technically, if the writers want to follow that line, then the other ninja have cool stuff they can unlock too.
Jay, use your lightning arms.
Use your lightning legs, Jay. We're running super fast. I don't know. But
it's whatever.
But yeah, but it's, yeah.
Then we have another weird scene.
Yes! Ooh!
So Haley loves this.
I love this
And I think
scene.
it's just hilarious. Haley, you go first. Gush about it.
Well, okay, it starts in the most stupid way. Cole says the line, "That's not gonna hold forever," and the word "forever" apparently like triggers Jay into thinking about Nia because he's like, "Oh my gosh, forever, 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 forever," and then we get probably one of the most funniest scenes because when Jay just starts talking to Nia super fast and nervously like he does, and nobody around them even notice. Like at one point Lloyd turns around, and then when he gets down on one knee and he starts like blurring everything out. If you watch the other ninja, it's so funny because they're like all ready to die for this. They are holding their weapons ready, and they hear Jay talking, and they kind of look over their shoulder like, what's going on?
Turn around, like, are you kidding me?
And then they see him on his knee, and they just spin around faster like nothing else. Like, we're missing this? Like, this is happening right now? And it was so funny.
It was a really good
but it was
well-composed scene. It was very funny and good characterization.
But yeah,
my beef with it mainly, I don't think is a problem with the writing. I think it's fine. It's just like I've given up griping about the marriage thing. That isn't even what I'm talking about. I think it's just a matter of expectations, because the season when they initially unveiled it, they almost pitched it at Comic-Con as if this was going to be the central focus. Maybe I was the only one who read it.
I feel like you were the only one that read into it.
Oh. Well, I kind of read into it until we found out that the ONI were in it too, and I was like, what?
I feel like we've all been baited into reading into a lot of what has been put out there, and it comes it comes very close. This is part of my final point, so let's finish the
Yeah.
actual.
Yeah, we'll get there
But other
later.
than that, it was a cute moment.
I'll get back
but,
into the marriage thing later, but suffice to say, I don't feel like it got the focus
Yeah,
it should have to be developed properly.
I mean, unless the pitch of it was Jay asks Nia to marry him in the middle of a battle,
Which is probably all it was, realistically.
which would be cute. And
It's basically just
yeah,
one prolonged joke.
Yeah.
And
He couldn't find the right way. He didn't know how to do it. He couldn't find the right time. If they had done like another little thing in last episode, they could have maybe hinted at it. But he just, yeah, it was. But the way he did it was really cute. And they wear. I didn't realize that they wear it. Like he wears the yin yang symbol on them. That's cool. Like I didn't know it came apart either. So that was really cute. I like that. But yeah, so that happens. And then
it all starts to go insane.
All right,
it flies off the rails.
Let me say it. They used the mural for Lloyd.
I love that so much. I love it so
Let
much.
me repeat it for those who missed it. They used the mural for Lloyd twice.
I love it. So, I personally think that this was a perfectly good usage of the mural. I thought that
Of course he would say that.
I thought that him putting his thoughts together was actually really good. I don't know why he used the mural for the golden weapons, but I guess it was just because it was concise. Fine.
It was probably the tornado of creation.
Yeah.
Well, he panned over the weapons and then the
Yeah.
tornado of creation. It's like 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah. Well, maybe he was just looking at it, and then I don't know why they zoomed in on the golden weapons. But
I don't
was
know.
Like, so he didn't want to zoom
I'm
right
watching
into
it right
tornado of
now.
creation.
So let me see. Yep, they pan over and they look at every
they don't wanna-
individual
yeah.
weapon and it immediately drop down to the tornado creation.
Well, they don't want to show us the tornado of creation immediately to create suspense.
Yeah, they're leading
start
into
on
it.
that panel so
Because
you know
if the
what
weapons are
panel it is.
required
Yeah.
to make the tornado, they start with the weapons, build into the tornado.
Mhm.
I assumed they were going to have Garmadon wield the weapons.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, no. He only wielded the weapons because what they had to face had a very clear and singular weak spot that he could use all 4 weapons on.
I mean, the whole reason he got 4 arms was so he could wield all 4 weapons back when they supposedly had tremendous power.
Yeah.
Air quotes instead of just being regular weapons. But, I guess that's been dropped. So
Yeah. Yes.
why does he have 4 arms then? The big thinky.
I mean, all comes back to his resurrection, so.
Cool minifig.
Yeah.
Probably.
Cool, gotta make that minifig.
I love minifig. 4 arms.
So
Like, that's new. Sorry.
Lloyd's like, we gotta do the tornado of creation. And then Kai's
Get it?
like, it was a
Creation.
miracle, it worked the first time. And I was like, you've used it 3 times.
Well, the first time they did it, the pilots, it was a miracle that they did it because they had no clue what they were doing.
Yeah, but they're
that
decently
was it.
experienced
Yeah.
with it, even if they haven't done it in a number of
Yeah.
years. It's not like it was used it once and it was a fluke. They
Mhm.
use it for frivolous things, like to make a catapult, wasn't it?
Yep.
And
they
to
made a
make
catapult.
themselves a vehicle. Like
The
they
ultrasonic radar.
they used to use it just for regular things that
Yeah.
nowadays Neo would just build. So it's not like it's this crazy mythical thing they have to do. And then they do have an admittedly cool moment where Lloyd's like, everyone has to do it. And it feels like a team effort. And he says Garmadon needs to do it. And he just kind of walks away. And then he sees the mural and how the smoke is encroaching. And it pans to him. And you see him in like his evil conquering form. And then it zooms closer into Lloyd. And they have this tendril kind of cover Lloyd up. And then that's when Garmadon kind of snaps to action. It was a very well done visual storytelling for Garmadon's mind. It was great. They used the mural for Lloyd twice.
It's so good. I love it so much.
However, here's my big flaw with the episode. Well, one of many, but here's probably my biggest head scratcher. So the tornado of creation, this crazy overpowered thing, but the precedent for its use is. It's a bit of a leap for me to fully get behind it, even with the added people. It feels cheap because they started off making a Ferris wheel. Next up, they make a catapult. Third time, they make a vehicle. Fourth time, They make a massive realm-crossing blast of amazing energy that wipes out all shred of darkness in the universe and frees thousands to millions of petrified people and single-handedly saves the day. It's a bit of a leap from Ultrasonic Raider to that, even with the extra people. And you could make the argument that the Ninja just never used it to their full potential because they didn't really need to, which I can buy that in universe. But from an audience perspective, this Deus Ex Machina has been gone for many years, and it comes back like 20 times more powerful than it ever was before.
I feel like that's misinterpreting it. It's not that it crossed universes or crossed realms. It just wiped out the Oni, and it undid the effects from the other realms. Because they're connected to all of the damage.
Yeah. I mean, sure. The principle is the same though, because it's a tornado of creation. What were they creating? A plot device? Like they destroyed the Oni.
Well,
I mean, the one thing is that they're combating destruction.
I know, but that's complete. Yeah. That's just like words. You're just saying words that have no meaning.
Yeah.
There's a force of destruction, and we must combat it with creation. But creation and destruction, number one, it's a balance, an ideological kind of a balance. Number two, it's practical things. The Oni are destroying. Creation brings life to something. It's supposed to be a give and take. So if they had used the tornado of creation to create something that allowed them to beat the Oni, like if they had used I know it doesn't work this way logically, I'm just making a point. If they'd used the tornado of creation to make, I don't know, the golden weapons, even though they can't do that, they could have then used those weapons to beat the Oni. Something like that. Make something tangible instead of just the sheer overwhelming power of creation wiped them all out.
They use the tornado of creation to tear apart the entire monastery to make a monastery mech.
Dear Lord, I mean, you joke, and that would have been asinine, but I would have preferred that to what actually happened, because it would have actually made sense.
Monastery Spinjitzu comes in two forms.
Yeah, the monastery mech that they used to just like destroy
I'm
all the
here to
Oni.
train in a place of peace. Not anymore. The place of peace is gonna leave you in pieces.
That would have actually been consistent. Dumb and maybe tonally unfitting, but consistent nonetheless. Things to gripe about with this season that doesn't really rank, but it stuck out of my mind because for years we've been wanting the Ninja, and I wonder if they'll ever use the tornado of creation again. They're not going to ever use it again because it's too powerful. And I was always like, in my head, that's not true. They always just used it to make like vehicles. They never used it to actually defeat enemies or solve problems because it's not for that. And then, they introduced the greatest threat the Ninja have ever faced, supposedly. How do they beat them? Doing that thing, except now it actually does wipe out all the enemies. Yeah. So,
I mean, the one thing that is relatively different was that the Ninja were passed out after it. That was the first time that the Ninja had been, like, severely knocked out from using the Tornado of Creation. But that just might have been, like, stakes.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
But
I don't know.
The creative creation created another death fake out.
Dear Lord. Oh, God. I applaud them for doing it because it's a nostalgia thing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't handled as bad as it could have been. Like, I got the theming behind it. Teamwork, creation versus destruction. It's just, when I actually think about it, it does not make sense. That's it.
It was cool.
And nostalgia. I mean, like, creation and destruction is a balance. Are they only dead? Are they sent back to their realm?
Overlorded.
Are they sent back to a realm? Like, what? If they're just destroyed, that throws off the balance, right? Are they weakened, crippled? I don't know.
That's true. Heck, if the Oni are gone, holy crap.
Yeah, like it doesn't even make any sense. Even using the creation, destruction, yin-yang allegory, like it all.
Why is the FSM applauding him? FSM knew that there had to be a balance.
You screwed up the balance, Lloyd.
Lloyd just freaking destroyed all of it.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
So those are my gripes about that.
But
I'm gonna stop talking. You guys can talk for a second.
Well, I mean, yeah, that was
Okay. I want to move into the next part.
Do it.
Yes.
This might be the worst part.
Oh
It was a beautiful
He doesn't
looking
have
scene.
a face because
No, no,
it's
no, 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 no. I don't care about the face. The
Okay,
face
cool.
bears no relevance to me. I
Cool.
get that they
'Cause
want to
you-
keep it.
okay.
Trust me, the first 3 Bionicle films did this the entire time with the faces. Not a big deal. I'm used to it.
Cool.
The scene is beautifully animated. I love the
Mm-hmm.
landscape. I love the cinematography. I think it looks spectacular.
Yes.
I feel empty. It was just such an empty scene to me. There
It was
is
meaningless.
it like Mess was saying earlier, it's just words.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't hold any meaning to me. And I'm sure this is definitely one of those puzzle pieces. You know? I'm certain, like,
I hope so. It might
I'm
not be though.
sure this is something that will be explained. But it just raises so many questions that a season finale, in my opinion, and especially one that is going to be ending a trilogy, should not be asking at this time. We're ending it. Why is the first Spinjitzu Master talking to Lloyd? Is it a dream? Where are they? Why is a dragon there? How does he know who Lloyd
Wait,
is?
are
Is he
you
alive? Is this his
There are a
spirit?
few
We've seen
answers
his
to those
body
questions.
before.
Wait, do you not get that Lloyd was dead?
Okay, is this Ninjago heaven then?
That's
Yeah.
that's a departed realm.
There are a few
That's the departed
clues.
realm.
Yes, or I say departed realm, unless there is another realm for, I guess, more powerful beings. that we
Tommy
don't know
gave
of,
a
but
description of the departed
Yeah.
realm. Where did he give it?
I don't know. I don't think it's Way of the Departed.
It was either that or in Twitter somewhere, but it matches perfectly with the aesthetic of this place.
Okay, so this is just another realm.
So, and yeah, because he's dead, in the sense where once we go back to reality, he was dead. Like he'd been completely crushed.
Yeah, I mean, I got the point that
so-
Lloyd was dead. That Lloyd isn't my focus.
But for first Spinjitzu Master, he was.
They made it more
Yeah.
vague than they needed to be, creating a mystery that I don't think is actually there. I'm going to break down this scene for you. Lloyd dies. The first Spinjitzu Master doesn't send him anywhere. He was lying about that. I guess he maybe wanted to speak to him, but they were in the same plane at that point. They were in the same departed realm. And he's like, "You did good, Lloyd. You saved the day, and I thank you for all you've done for Ninjago. And now you can come with me. And, where are we going? You'll see soon enough, because he's not going to tell him he's dead, because that would spook him. But I promise you'll be happy there, because it's the afterlife. It's a heaven allegory. It's a place. You're happy to be there. Or you can go back if you want to return to your friends." And they make it look like he took his hand, but then, psych, he didn't actually take his hand. He went back to his friends. They edited it in the way they did and made it more complex because they didn't want the audience to clue in that Lloyd was dead yet.
Yeah.
They wanted to add an air of mystery to it, and then they reveal, oh, he was dead. He is dead. Is he actually dead? He took his hand. Does that mean Lloyd's dead for real? There is no secret. There is no deeper meaning. I literally think those were just platitudes because he didn't want to scare Lloyd. I could be completely mistaken about that, but I think that's what it is. The reason I don't think it worked is because that mystery was not worth losing the emotional impact, because Lloyd didn't know what was going on, we didn't know what was going on, and ergo, we didn't care. There could have been introspection in this scene about Lloyd, about how, he's sick of all the fighting and the constant conflict, and maybe he does long for just peace, and maybe, dying would be fine if he could go and end all his constant suffering and losing friends and pain and dealing with his dad and his life. But in the end, he decides to return to his friends because friendship is the most important thing to him, and he still has work left to do. That could have been a good scene, but making it ambiguous took away the heart in favor of a 3-minute mystery and false suspense and another death fake out. If they had actually made it look like Lloyd was dead and then cut to that scene when Wu's like, there's no pulse, sure, we would have known that Lloyd probably was coming back, but we could have enjoyed the scene more. We would have known what was going on, and then we could really focus on the character stuff.
Yeah.
It was just simple editing. in service of a mystery that didn't need to be there, and another death fake out, which I do not enjoy at this point. I'm so sick of it.
The death fake out is... Oh, boy. I got some words for this one.
Yeah.
I mean...
Again,
it's also partially
animated.
part of my final thoughts, so I'm not going to... Yep.
I like the mystery because I enjoy mysteries.
What mystery?
The mystery of what was happening to Lloyd when he was there. Like,
I mean, you knew what it was. You knew it was a departed realm.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was an idea. When we got there, was it Chima? Was it departed realm? We're like, oh, it's departed realm, but I didn't know that he was dead.
Did anyone think it was Chima?
Well,
people in
did
the
anyone
teaser
legitimately
poster,
think it was Chima?
Yes.
Yes. Based off of the poster.
In the teaser poster where there's the one floating rock, people have literally been saying that's Mount Kavora.
Well, not the
For
Mount
days.
Kavora, or there, it's like the Chima realm.
No, I've seen people saying the floating rock was Mount
yeah.
Kavora. Seriously.
So.
And the fact that Tommy was tweeting about a Chima crossover got people thinking. I didn't actually think it was going to be. I was having fun memeing it, and when the dragon stepped into frame, I did for a second think it was a legend beast.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, are they actually freaking doing this?
Mr. Anderson, what do I have to do? How may I repent to prevent this Chima crossover from existing? We could have had the realm be destroyed, and it would have been okay, and everyone would have been happy. Although I don't know which other realm would have then been destroyed because they're all like kind of interlinked. But what do I need to do?
That's been dropped.
Who do I need to talk to?
LJ.
How much money must I pay? What is it gonna take?
He knows.
We have been hinted that there will be a crossover.
Yes, I know. I saw the tweet.
That will come out.
I hope you're hungry, Jan. Thanks, Jan. This is all your fault. You know, someone said that we could be best of friends, we could be buddies, that we seem like we would be good pals, but I don't know anymore, because this... I blame you, Jan. I hope you're listening, Jan! Okay. Anyway.
Well, while we're on this subject, there were leaked photos of a... Did you see this, LJ?
Let's not talk about those.
Part of...
Technically, it's from Nuremberg Toy Fair.
It's from Toy Fair.
We can talk about it.
Okay.
It's of a new pet for one of the ninja. Did you see this?
Yes, I saw it.
It is it's a wolf.
Lloyd's getting a wolf.
He's getting a wolf. Cough, cough. If there's ever a close-up of the wolf's eye, it's immediately going to be my icon 100%. But... because it's been set up since the very beginning.
Oh my
I
god.
have the wolf, and then it will actually be
okay.
Ninjago. But the theory was like, what if Lloyd somehow is in a Chima realm without us knowing that it's Chima? It's like one of the worlds below Chima. I don't know.
I explained to her the ending of Chima and how it could potentially relate a whole untapped land that may or may not be affected by Chi.
I'm going to be honest with you guys.
Don't realize that it is.
If we get a whole season full of Chima/Ninjago crossover, I'm going to have a mental split, and the person hosting NinjagoCast will not be the same person speaking right now. It will be another personality that I have manufactured to protect my fracturing psyche. Okay? It is going to be
your persona?
The same way.
Get out, Purple. Get the freak out. An official statement regarding Purple for the 15th time. Get the fudge out of here. I don't need this from you. You, of all people.
Oh my god.
What did you say?
Nothing. I didn't say anything.
Oh, really? No. Go ahead. Come on. Bring it on. I'm only going to destroy Cole next time.
I said, we'd have we have oodles of work to do. Because we still haven't even gotten to the final.
My mind will
yet.
fracture,
Oodles.
okay? And it's just going to be to protect myself.
I want to talk about the Chima stuff more. I want to do it in the last.
I would like to talk about it another episode because we're running long. I'd like to try and get to our final thoughts soon.
In that case, I'll just say it here. I think it's ambitious for them to try to do a crossover with a canceled Lego theme. I think it's actually really cool for something to live on
Don't
as
say
a vessel
Bionicle.
in Ninjago.
Don't
I'm not.
bring up
Shh.
I have to say it.
What do you gotta say?
You finish your thought.
You finish it first.
All right. Okay. LJ, forgive me.
Don't yell. Please don't yell it.
I'm not gonna yell it.
Okay.
So remember, the last shot of the episode, LJ?
No, actually, I don't, but let me look at it.
Oh gosh. It
Oh.
slowly pans up into the words, "The end." Except Ninjago is going to continue.
Oh, okay.
See
And?
that? Okay.
It's a freaking G2 reference.
It's totally G2.
Okay.
She's saying that
Great.
this episode of Ninjago ended him, and the Bionicle G2 ended in the same way.
exact way.
Okay, cool.
Except
Good job.
congratulations.
Haley, you mistake LJ
Oh,
having any care in the
I
world
know.
for G2.
I just thought it was great.
When she said it to me, I freaking cracked up. But that's only 'cause of how much
Nice
I'm weird.
attempt.
Yeah.
It isn't
I
going to
was
make me go any
apologizing,
easier
but
on you when
I
it comes
know.
to Cole next time. And trust me,
No,
it is
I'm
going
not.
to be
Oh gosh.
brutal.
It's ambitious for a theme that's been canceled to cross over with Ninjago and have it live on as a vessel. I would be much more interested in it if, no offense, meant Chima was actually good. But not to insult the work of Chima creators or the fans who enjoy it, there are good aspects about it. Certainly, it's not a horrendous show. But Chima at its best was only ever as good as Ninjago at its worst. That's
I need
the
to
sentence
watch
that
it
I
again.
used.
I feel
That's
like
the
I need
sentence
to...
that I used to describe it. It was
Netflix
very
on it.
simplistic. It dealt with very simplistic theming. It was a story that concluded in the first 40 minutes and then had like 5 to 6 hours of filler. The only good season was the Fire and Ice season.
Which ironically was the
Absolutely.
last one, wasn't it?
Yep, and ironically, the
It is
next
nice
wave of
and
Ninjago
fun.
per Nuremberg Toy Fair is an ice-based theme.
Oh boy.
So
Don't do this to me. What do I need to do?
Big thinky.
Who do I need to talk to? How much money do you want? What must I do? What must I say? What is it going to take?
Get her first.
No, I'm never going to do that. Stop talking!
I think she has to get her
That,
music
there's no way. You couldn't pay me enough for that.
So we'll talk about Chima more in a few episodes.
Yeah.
I have thoughts on how it could be integrated, but basically, I'm nervous.
Okay.
I'm very nervous.
What's this crossover? I
Okay.
guess it's Chima. But...
So,
Yeah.
have we said everything
is
for
that
this
it? That's
scene?
the episode? One more thing about the just quickly about the panel or the mural when
Yes.
they did their new mural. That is actually in the set for the Monastery of Spinjitzu.
Wow,
Believe it or
spoilers,
not.
Monastery.
I was wondering. Oh my
Literally,
gosh.
we built
We
it
built it
beforehand,
today?
and she literally said, "I don't know what this symbol is. Maybe it is
It's
for Day of the
Day of the
Departed.
Departed.
It's like the eclipse
I don't
or
know.
whatever." But no,
I completely brushed it off, and then Lloyd stepped away, and I literally looked over at Tyler, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, we were looking at this earlier, and we didn't know what it was."
it's pretty great.
But it was pretty
It's
cool.
pretty cool on the set
So
designer's part.
good timing. That was
It
really
makes
good
it canon,
timing.
just like people said. You know,
Mhm.
it's cool.
So
Let's talk
Yeah.
about the episode as a whole and the season as a whole. LJ, you go first.
Okay.
okay.
Episode as a
turn down my
whole,
phone.
it's obviously it's really rushed. Like, I feel that they could have used an additional episode, this whole thing. They cram a lot of stuff into it, and I feel like that could have been handled a little nicer. The episode was fine. It was just really confusing. It went at a breakneck speed, and a whole bunch of stuff happened, and it just left you with a lot of questions. Like, I'm not well versed in the Departed realm, so I was confused. I was sitting there going, why? We are at the end of the season. Why are you making me ask these questions now? Overall, I can't really talk too much about the episode without talking about the season as a whole, because the season as a whole, what was the point behind it? The line between misleading advertising and not necessarily manipulation, but, suggestion, it's blurry here. The worst advertising I've ever seen, the most misleading advertising I've ever actually gotten to bear witness to, was Halo 5's. Halo 5's,
Yes.
all of the advertising was set up to be, the Master Chief has gone AWOL and you have to hunt him down. Is he a traitor or is he out for doing good? And this entire marketing campaign for Halo 5 was centered around that. They even had this really excellent radio show, essentially, that focused on that plot line and is Oni bad or so on and so forth. It was spectacular. When the game comes around, you find out, oh, that's dealt with for maybe 2 episodes, but it's actually never really a thing. Oni is not a factor. You not only don't play as just the Master Chief, you play as a total of 8 different Spartans, and one team goes after the Master Chief, but you're following the Master Chief, so there's no actual mystery, and then it completely veers off course from all of it. There's no...
The plot of Master Chief being a traitor is addressed in maybe 10 lines of dialogue, and it's very simplistic. It's like he gets an order and he's like, negative infinity, I don't like it, and then he closes the door and him and his team goes off and does their own things. But like, there's no ambiguity that they're doing anything evil at all.
Yeah,
they hyped it all up. They over dramatized one aspect about the story to make it seem like it had a different tone than it actually does. It's a very appropriate comparison here.
Yes. So I am not saying that the team behind Ninjago have done the advertising for this to that extent. I'm not. What I am saying is it's very close. And it is very borderline misleading. The reason why I say borderline and not outright misleading is because the fans did a lot of reading into it. It was said that a ninja would die. It was said that a ninja would fall. It was said that all of these different things would happen. And then the posters were released in a particular order. And it was all meant for you to read into it to make these assumptions that these things would happen, including the fact that they gave Cole the headliner for this, and the fact that Cole has still never really had any actual proper character development ever that has lasted and had an effect. But at the same time, so yeah, sure, the fans read into it a ton, but at the same time, it was almost intentional. Yes, they said a ninja would die. Yeah, a ninja did die. But you had all of our expectations assuming that it was going to be Cole, and when he didn't, we don't feel relieved, we feel cheated. We feel like we have been intentionally misled, and that we should feel bad for reading into it, when it was almost intentionally done to make us mislead, to mislead us. It's... I mean, heck, I say this ironically, I think it's applicable. We were Ryan Johnson. Our expectations were completely subverted, and I don't like it when that happens. At least not when it happens poorly.
I like it when it's in service of a good story. Like, me not getting what I want is cool when what I get is better than what I was expecting. Which I understand, like, better could mean different things to everybody, but
yes.
It's subjective, but something that is more interesting, something that is, unique, breaks the norms. Like, that's what plot twists are. You think you're getting one thing, you get another. That is in and of itself subversion, but a plot twist is a twist on a formula that you expect. It's something unexpected. This was the expected route. The advertising was the twist. We thought we were getting a character death. We got nothing. We got just standard, Ninjago fare.
Yeah, and that is the other thing. The ninja that died was Lloyd. I have no issue with that. The problem is, it is a worse death scene than A. Cole's, B. Zane's, C. Garmadon's, B. any of the Bionicle films. And those are pretty egregious outside of the second movie. Okay, maybe kind of the third. So really only the first one, where Jala was dead for maybe a total of 10 minutes at best. Lloyd was dead for, let me see here. Okay, so he was dead from 15 minutes to about 20. So about 5 minutes.
And technically the audience didn't realize he was dead until after they exited the departed realm.
Exactly. So yes, technically speaking, they were honest with us. He died. But then he came right back. There is no loss. There is no growth that we have seen. And we're not going to see any growth right away because it's the end of the season. There is no change. The status quo is kept. As far as an ending is concerned, as far as the season finale is concerned, this, to me, is one of the weaker ones because no one has lost. This ending picture I have paused it on, This is everyone who had an effect in this season, and even the trilogy, except for the best. Where's Vinny? Where is Vinny from NGTV? Huh? Where is he? The news reporter. What's her name? Gladys?
Yeah.
She's here.
Gail.
Gail. Yeah, that's what I said.
Freaking Ronan is there. Like
Ronan!
Vinny unironically.
Ronan.
Unironically.
What did I say?
Not to mention
say?
Karloff
Not
is
even
there.
joking.
Karloff, what
Not
is
even
he
joking
doing
with
there?
Karloff's in there.
As much as we like to meme Vinny,
The postman is in there. The postman is standing by himself and
Vinny-
in all his glory and purple.
Vinny, in all seriousness, had more of an impact on this trilogy than Ronan did.
Yeah.
But Ronan is there.
I don't understand. The thing I don't get is the entirety of this season. It was meant to cap off this Garmadon trilogy. The Sons of Garmadon hunted, and this was supposed to be the end of it. But what do we gain? Because we sure as heck didn't lose. We got Garmadon back, I guess, but now we're just season 1 status quo. Lloyd died, I guess. Cole didn't actually die. He was gone for maybe half of an episode. What was the narrative gain? And I'm not trying to be exaggerated here. I'm genuinely curious. What have we gained from a narrative perspective? How have the characters grown? And trust me, this is something I've been paying close attention to over the last week rewatching Ninjago. Nia has had some excellent character development over the series. Jay, Kai, Zane, Lloyd, all have developed and grown and become different characters and had great dynamics. Cole has had nothing. Why was he the one who started off these episodes? Why did they give him an intro? Why did they give him any focus? Why did they give him a death fake out if they weren't going to A, capitalize it, or B, grow either any of the rest of the cast or Cole himself? Why did Lloyd die if they weren't going to keep him dead? What was the point of that other than to show us the Departed Realm? Why did they show us the Departed Realm so late into this season to where we're left with more questions and answers unless we find third-party content that isn't in the actual show that we are unaware of? There are too many questions. There are too many whys. I don't feel like we gained anything from the season. It was a perfectly serviceable season, I suppose. I just feel like I watched Day of the Departed, the extended cut. I didn't get anything out of it. And at least with Day of the Departed, Cole's back to being a human again. He's not even a ghost, and he's got those cool lava arms. And I kind of buy into the theory that maybe he did unlock his true potential because the ninja have never actually used their elemental powers outside of an external force, be it Lloyd, golden weapons, or anything else. So what did we gain? That is my greatest issue with this season. That is why I'm left empty. This episode has just left me empty. I'm not even angry. I'm not upset about this. Outside of just being apathetic toward the entire season of well-animated moments, really cool effects, really excellent shots, like Omega coming into frame for the first time. Other than that, what did we gain? What did they gain?
It's like
I feel like it's nothing.
said in the chat, LJ. We gained questions.
I didn't want questions.
Well,
I didn't want questions.
I'm apathetic, he says, while sounding very peeved.
I'm trying to put emphasis into this.
well, here's
convey
a
my
slight
points.
answer to you, LJ. A slight answer. And I say this because I don't think it's an answer, but here's at least the motivation to what you're doing. This was poorly timed. And I say poorly timed because they tried to make the 100th episode special the conclusion to what possibly was some of the greatest content we got from Ninjago, all bundled together, try to give each ninja something to do in these 4 episodes while dealing with an enemy that was unexplainably powerful, while also calling to nostalgia, while trying to give Cole something to do because this has been 100 episodes and Cole hasn't had a season, while giving Lloyd something to do because he's the hero, while giving Kai something to do because he was the blacksmith, so they had to throw the golden weapons back in there, while giving, just homage to Ninjago in general. They tried to do all of that together, and it didn't fit. If this was a regular season, and they didn't try to cut this to 100, And instead, they decided to make this a full season. And when they got to episode 100, which I guess would be episode 98, they would have a special, like, 100 episode where they find out, hey, maybe the Oni, we can use the golden weapons against the Oni, and they build it in that episode alone. And then they have a couple other quirks that they bring back from past Ninjago stuff. And then the season continues with the Oni into like a full 10 episode arc. But what they tried to do was they tried to shorten it so that it was a big hurrah, a big moment, and it didn't work.
It's what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did.
Yeah.
They had the 100th episode be the 12th episode of a 22 episode season, and the 100th episode worked fine. It didn't like sacrifice the stakes or the ending of the season at all.
Yeah,
I definitely think bundling the finale was a bad call, an unavoidable one, probably because of budget, but it definitely exacerbated these problems.
A Ninjago finale that wraps up not only Sons of Garm, not only Hunted, but March of the Oni, that also is trying to celebrate 100 episodes, try to give Cole something to do, trying to give Lloyd something to do.
It was doomed.
Try to give Jay something to do. Even like Zane didn't do anything. Did he even say anything in this episode?
That's a good question.
Yeah, he spoke.
I don't even think.
I think.
Did he?
No,
he might have said something like, I would say,
he
I
did
don't want to
say
say
something.
generic, but like something that any ninja could have said. So not something that Zane would have said, but they tried doing so much in this episode that while it felt good to have moments pop up, it left, like you said, there's just so much unexplained, so much that they fell flat on. And I this could have been a great whole season if it was 10 episodes long and they celebrated a 100th episode in this season.
Prentice, please tell me if Zane said anything besides cool.
I'm pretty sure. No,
hilarious.
I think he did. He was the first to point out that Lloyd was missing. I think.
Got it.
Not 100% sure.
Well, there you
and
go.
Honestly, I think
Lloyd.
you are completely right about that, Haley. Like, I think that is a really... It's a spot-on assessment of everything.
Yeah.
And it disappoints me because they needed to do one of two things. They either needed to completely 100% absorb the pilots, because I'm looking at the title cards. There are 2 episode 1s. There shouldn't be 2 episode 1s. Because they're counting the pilots as 2 episodes instead of 4. So we have 100 episodes technically, as this was supposed to be the 100th, but it's titled episode, 98, because it's after the pilots. And I think
enraged at that.
Yeah,
I think
welcome to Ninjago.
what they should have done, much to my great dismay, and trust me, it is my great dismay, they should have discounted the pilot episodes and extended this to a 6-episode season.
I agree.
Yeah,
I'd take the hit for cohesive storytelling.
2 more episodes would have made this probably a solid season, or at least marginally better than what I'm left with being confused.
Yeah.
It's like Prentice says, the real episode 100 is going to be a random second episode in a season.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Lloyd might go to Chima at episode 100.
Oh, gosh.
Great Satisfactory.
I thought you never say that ever again.
Ninjago episode 100 plus Chima.
Dear Lord.
But
Haley,
yeah.
do you want to go first before me, or do you want me to just get all my negativity
You go
out of the
first.
way?
You go first.
Okay, Haley will be the nice positive, the bow
pillow.
on top of this podcast. I am similar to LJ in almost every way, except replace my my apathy with just like resignation and disappointment. Because I was duped. I'll be honest. And before I get any further, like Tommy Anderson never. He's not a liar. I already know a few people are going to say this, especially when we're talking about misleading advertising. Technically, if you want to get technical, he said a ninja will fall. Technically, a ninja did fall off the bounty. The problem with that comes because it's like LJ said, you could try to paint it as the fandom overreacting or reading too much into things. I would not say that because it's the intention for them to read into things. They want the community to get sparked into a frenzy about this. They say those things, those little winks and nods, with a purpose. It's not just in a vacuum. There's an implication you're supposed to draw, unless you're a jaded, cynical dude like me who never believed they'd have the guts to kill Cole or any of the ninja. Then I think my problem really is that Ninjago has been maturing for years. I think we may have jumped the gun on how much they have actually matured. In Sons of Garmadon, they had angst, they had lies, they had demonic resurrection rituals, they had crazy girlfriends trying to stab you, they had all sorts of stuff. They're not there yet to kill a character and have it stick. It's been 8 years and no one from the main cast has died. Really, no one even from the supporting cast has died because they've all come back. Garmadon is back. Zane came back. Pixel came back.
Nia came back.
Nia came back. Nia's parents came back from their presumed death. Everybody comes back. There's no death. Bionicle killed characters like left and right. Harumi's dead, sure. She's a villain also. I know she was portrayed as sympathetic, but Bionicle killed characters left and right. Some didn't stick, like Jala, but most times they did. If a character died, 9 times out of 10, they stayed dead.
And at the very least, when it came to Bionicle's mainstream, like the films, outside of the first one and the last one, at least half of them had a permanent death.
Yeah. Sidorak's dead. Nidiki and Kreka, they're dead. Lekon is dead, etc., etc. Now, Haley's counterpoint to that, when we were discussing it earlier, is that like the Bionicle characters aren't humanoid.
Yeah.
They're like freaky robot creatures,
Of
so they
course.
probably feel like they could have gotten away with it easier.
And they're also in books. Well, the movies, but
Well,
they
a lot of
didn't
that's happened in
Lekon
the
does
movies.
not reappear, and neither do Nidiki and Kreka.
Well, yeah. There's
We're
there's
going to
difference with
discount the Red
Origin,
Star for
and
the
then
sake of
there's-
this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think people might have, and again, I'm not saying it's our fault. I actually do believe it's the writing team and the marketing team's fault in this instance, but people read too much into it. People hyped up Ninjago's dark turn on these last 2 seasons, and they extrapolated it to something that they are either incapable of due to the age demographic or are just unwilling to do because of group dynamics and sad kids if they kill a ninja. They're not going to do it. And I would have been totally fine with that. I would have been irritated, to be sure, with Cole because I felt like we were baited. But I could have understood it. Like, I don't like Zane not dying and rebooted, but I've gotten over it in time. It's been like 4 years. I'm not irritated about that anymore. If it wasn't for the Lloyd fake out in the same episode, that tips my scales from just irritation to just complete like disappointment because they didn't need to do that. And they sacrificed what could have actually been a good moment. Like, spoilers, if you haven't read Harry Potter, if you haven't seen the movies, just like mute us for like a minute. There's a scene in Deathly Hallows, part 7 of the series, where Harry Potter dies and he goes to basically the equivalent of heaven, and he has a prolonged conversation with Dumbledore. And it's exactly beat for beat like this. You can move on if you want to, or you can go back and help your friends, blah, blah, blah. The purpose of that scene was not to get a pat on the back and a congratulations. It was for emotional closure with Dumbledore, and also to actually have a talk about some misunderstandings about him that had cropped up throughout the course of the story, and also shine some light on the history of his family and the world. It had a purpose. It had emotional beats, it had a story beat, and it was done in a very poetic way. Now, that's a book, a movie, whatever. This scene had very little of that. It was very obvious what was going on in hindsight. And I just feel like it was a waste. Like, I even believe for like a split second they went on with it, and I was like, would they actually kill Lloyd? Are they doing it? And like the way they were going about it, he has no pulse. And the reason I thought they might actually go through with it is because they had this shot of him taking FSM's hand. So I was like, did he actually go with him? Is that what they're saying? But of course not. Of course he didn't. He probably just came super close to touching the hand and then pulled away. Just like the smoke tendrils came so close to touching Cole and then just pulled away. It's just like constant give and take. You push the audience to the brink of actually doing something, and then you pull back because it's Lego. And that's a very unfortunate reality to face. But maybe that's just, how we are. Ninjago can tell good stories. They can tell feel-good stories. They can have heart. They can have impact. It just, death might never be a part of it. And this was their moment. They advertised it so much. They set up the dark vibe with the posters, the cool posters that all of them were just super dark. One ninja must leave his love behind. One ninjroid must venture into the darkness. One has to, make the fatal mistake. Fate of Ninjago prepares for the end. One ninja will fall. And just like nothing. It's a complete vacuous void of promises and potential and a cool story that's there, but it's constrained by the medium it's in.
Mm-hmm.
And if they didn't do something now for the 100th episode and the 8th year of the theme, I have no confidence that they ever will. Which does not mean Ninjago is bad, but I think we should all just accept they're never going to do anything bold like killing a character. It's just not
like
going to
one
happen.
of the ninja, not even
One
just
of
a
the
character.
ninja.
It's killing a ninja.
I have no faith they'll kill the supporting cast either, but I guess they could. Like, they could kill freaking Karloff, have Karloff die in a heroic sacrifice. Kids could probably accept that, but the ninja are basically invincible at this point.
They've killed Garmadon how many times now?
Too many.
Or I say killed. He's been. If they kill him off again, but we'll see.
So,
maybe Wu's next, but who knows?
I very briefly want to address something from the live YouTube chat from Nightmare Freddy Krueger. First of all, my name isn't Elijah. It's LJ. ELJAY.
Elijah
It says
Jensen.
so right there. The spelling is right there when I talk.
Elijah Jensen.
So, that out of the way. He is making the claim that we weren't meant to see it this early. If we hadn't, then we wouldn't be as critical as we are now. That is completely
What in the
baseless.
world does that have to do with anything?
The time this is coming out is entirely irrelevant because the advertising campaign has been coinciding with its release in New Zealand. For the record, you should all still watch it in any country it comes out because it needs the views to sustain its viability.
Please.
Please, absolutely. No matter what we're saying here, it's still a perfectly fine season.
Season 12. We want a season 12. Make it go past 10 years. 10 years. Yes, 10 years.
Absolutely.
Yes, 100%. Do it.
Absolutely.
Yes, watch it live.
The time this comes out it bears no relevance on our thoughts about it. None.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure Tommy's been doing the posters just because of the leaked release, but even still.
Which I feel bad for Tommy, honestly. Kind of being forced into this position. I feel bad for anyone on the Ninjago team being forced into this position. I legitimately
I feel so bad for Braggy.
Dealt with impossible timing and concluding a trilogy like in 4 episodes.
I know. Because you know what else is bad timing?
What?
The leaks for the next wave, which revealed that all the ninja were going to survive.
Toy Fair happened like a few days before this episode came out, and it's like, oh, Cole has a vehicle in the summer.
So if
Lloyd
that
has
hadn't
a Titan
happened,
mech. It's like...
if we hadn't have gotten that, then would these deaths or apparent deaths might have, like, in the moment, not like, after
I would have
the
believed
episode.
them for half a second longer, but in the end, it would have still been hollow.
I would have believed the Cole one, absolutely, if we hadn't gotten those leaks. I've been like, this is it. He's falling to his death. This is totally the moment. And I would have been enraged because the news killed Cole until the very last episode. The very last moment of that episode. But unfortunately, like, it's just horrible timing. Horrible timing.
Yeah.
And I there's nothing they can do about it. It's just sad.
And I want to make something very clear. This does not mean that the show as a whole, or even this season, is really, really, really bad. By no means.
No.
Even still, Ninjago at its lowest, and this is not it at its lowest, by no means. Even still,
it's not at its lowest.
It is perfectly solid. It is absolutely a solid show. I will never not recommend it, and it's admirable that Braggy Shoot was able to pull this off to the extent that he had, given the constraints that I'm sure were levied against him.
It could have been a lot worse.
Absolutely. Yeah. I could not have done... I'm no writer, obviously, but there's no way I can envision doing a better job in just 4 episodes with all that on your plate. It's quite admirable. I look forward to when he will have...
Much going on, but...
I'm super excited to see what he will do when he has a full season.
Yeah. Very excited. So, yeah. But
Haley,
yeah.
you can say your thoughts. I'm pretty much done. It's just complete resignation, and I echo all of your sentiments, LJ, about the subversion and how it feels bad. I don't like being misled, even if there's no malice behind it. Even if it's just to drum up hype, it's anti-hype. You know, like they could have marketed this season without all the death flags, and I would have liked it way better if I just watched this in the moment. But the advertising skewed the perception too much. So, yeah. Haley, you go ahead.
March of the Oni. Oh gosh. Well, I have to say, as a Cole fan, I am disappointed. Mainly because the moment when I saw it for the first time that Cole was doing the intro, this entire season's expectations went through heaven's roof. Like it went high. It went so high. And he did
nothing.
Barely anything. The only thing he did was he quote-unquote died to give motivation to Garmadon to give Vinny a good scene. And to have, I don't know, have a great comeback moment for Cole.
Here's his arc. Foot fell asleep. Foot got touched. Fell off a ladder. Died. Didn't die. Had a slow-mo action scene. That's it.
Haley, you can literally slap him to get him to be quiet. This is within your
I know
your capabilities right now. Rare opportunity.
No, I grabbed his arm.
I still have a headache, Haley.
No,
I'm still hurting. No, headache's gone.
Nothing like controversy to make Meso feel well.
But
conflict fuels him.
The conflict fuels me.
That means when Meso transforms, he just gets like these super thick eyebrows and this really dorky chin.
The eyebrows! Yes! Go on, Haley.
Sorry, give me a moment.
Look, I'll fill in for her. Cole sucks.
No, stop!
Hey, that's what I'm gonna be saying next time.
No.
Yeah.
I'm saying it is unfortunate for Cole because Tyler made this point earlier. Because this was a Cole season, Cole's not going to get another season until after the show's canceled. So
probably
Ninjago has to last a pretty long time for Cole to get a season. But who knows? They could give him something because he is the most lacking of character development. As LJ mentioned, he needs something to challenge him. He hasn't had anything challenge him except for Day of the Departed. Period. And Day of the Departed was like a challenge that lasted for about 10 minutes of screen time, if that. So in order for him to do something, you have to give him something to do, and this did not give it to him. There was so much going on that he had nothing to do, period. Besides say the episode name for some reason, because he felt he had, I guess, the most turmoil on him.
I don't know.
However, but the 98, what I just felt good watching it because it felt like Ninjago has accomplished something because we remember the Tornado of Creation the first time, how they were scared to do it, and then they're scared to do it again, even though it doesn't make sense, because they've done it. It was like it directly brought us back to that moment. And then the whole golden weapons, the forging with him wearing his blacksmith, that was just so great. And then Cole popping out and grabbing the scythe like it was something he's been missing for a while, slamming to the ground. And then there was Lloyd meeting the first Spinjitzu master, and it's the first scene where Lloyd gets to interact with this guy that we know nothing about. And the fact we can't still see his face, and he was congratulating Lloyd for his accomplishments that are shruggable. Like, I mean, sure, it was his idea to do the Tornado of Creation, but...
Thank you for all you did, Lloyd.
Thank you for all you did,
You
Lloyd.
failed, you went on the news, you didn't fight, and you read a mural.
You chose peace
Thank
and
you.
love.
You
over...
saved the Ninjago.
And you completely eradicated one line of my generation. Thank you. Balance is destroyed.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Now
hey,
die.
You want to come with me? It's nice and happy up there.
Totally not sending you to eternal damnation for your crimes.
But it made me feel happy. And of course, Jay and Nia, their relationship has been going on for how long? They got probably one of the best seasons about it. And they finally had a moment. And they had a cute little moment where the ninja all kind of reacted hilariously to it. But it was still a great moment for those two.
That was
made
the
us
other
feel
thing.
good.
Epic poster. One ninja will ask the ultimate question while Lloyd looks scared at the badge. It's a joke scene. It's a gag. It's a funny joke. And it was a legitimately funny joke, but dramatic poster juxtaposition, funny joke.
Yeah.
It's like,
But so what I'm saying is, this episode it makes you feel good for being a Ninjago fan, because you know all this stuff. You can feel it. You're proud to have been there all these years, all these 100 episodes, all the way back since episode 1 and 2. And I don't know, it just made me smile a lot. So
meh.
So yeah, that's my uber gushy, non looking at all the flaws that are definitely apparent.
There's no problem with that. We balance each other out, and I'm sure Tommy appreciates it, because there was good work put into this.
Yeah, so I'm glad to be a Ninjago fan today.
Yeah, still am.
So
that hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Ditto.
So, especially today, building the monastery.
Yes, that was very fun.
It was very fun. Listening to
I
all
enjoyed
the
that.
old songs straight through, and
yes.
So, it's a good day to be a Ninjago fan, even if the 100th quote unquote 100th episode was sloppy. It's still a 100th episode, and it did its job in making us feel like it was a 100th episode. So.
Definitely felt like 100 episodes, I'll tell you that. I would have probably enjoyed it more if it was a series finale instead of a season finale.
Yeah, you keep the same thing.
I could have excused all the forced happy ending stuff, because, yeah, it's a series finale. Gotta have your happy ending.
Okay, I can see that. Fair enough. Yeah.
That's very bionicle.
It is.
Okay, what's that supposed to mean, lady?
It means that it was rushed, didn't have a very good episode, and then it ended with the end, and that was it. There we go. Did I deliver that one right?
You did. That was way better. It was way quicker and snappier. It wasn't as drawn out. I'm proud of you.
Gosh, you are. I'm so close to remembering one of the Lego Movie 2 quotes, but I won't say it because you guys still haven't seen the movie, and I don't want to spoil it because it's really funny.
Okay.
Bottom line is, next time I don't want to make you cry. That's an awful thing to say.
I will have all of my Cole minifigures around me, giving me.
You're gonna need every single one, because every single one is going to crumble under the weight of my oppressive arguments.
All right, have fun.
I will have a ton of fun. Listen now, anyone listening to the next Ninjago cast, if you're a Cole fan, you may not want to listen to that one because it is going to be rough for you.
Yeah.
All right. Does anyone else have anything to say?
I could talk about this episode for an hour. Like, I haven't even... A lot of the stuff I just brushed over in the recap discussion. Like, I don't know. This episode was a mess. The only reason I think I maybe don't... Like, the only reason I am so passionate against it is because of the advertising. Realistically, let's be honest, Ninjago has never had good finales. Ever. I think the only one that even came remotely close was Rebooted. And even then, it was like a mess because they had elements to it that didn't really work. Like the whole shrinking pill debacle.
Like I don't know if I would say that none of them have had good ones. I actually do think Possession was pretty decent.
Possession also had an unfair advantage because it was a two-parter, but fair. Cursed World was pretty alright. So I kind of hold this one to the same standard. Like both Sons of Garmadon and Hunted's finales were also pretty, cheesy ending. It's just Sons of Garmadon had the advantage of being like a cliffhanger, but I don't know. I will say that this was the worst of the modern trilogy. I think that's fair to say. But then again, like we discussed, it had a bunch of issues that prevented it from being as good as it is. A lot of it due to promotion, and a lot of it due to expectation, and a lot of it due to subversion, and blah, 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 blah. Overall, did I enjoy it? Yes, it was fun to watch, but for superficial reasons, not for the story. I enjoyed it to see these characters back together, wielding the golden weapons, doing the tornado of creation to celebrate 100 episodes. That felt good to see. Everything else, not really. Also, why was Ronan there and he didn't talk? Why didn't Ronan show up at all in this trilogy?
And where was Vinny?
Why? Vinny wasn't there. Ronan was there. Karloff was there for some reason. Didn't really need to be. Pixel got reduced to a footnote. She didn't say or do anything besides protect the civilians.
You asked me, like, where's Pixel?
Yeah,
so
like,
when we watched it, we were like, oh, there she is.
We literally had to rewind to find Pixel in the doorway. I got this body so I could be part of the team and be a ninja like you. Stands indoor guarding random people, doesn't do anything. It's like when she disappeared in that one Sons of Garmadon episode.
Don't forget about me.
Don't forget about me.
Thanks for reminding me.
Who are you?
Now,
I maintain, if Ninjago is going to get better, both in terms of maturity, storytelling stakes, and also unique characterization, someone's got to go. Pixel's got to go, Cole's got to go, Kai's got to go, or Lloyd's got to go.
Cool.
Those three guys can't exist together. They leech off each other's personalities too much, and Pixel is like kind of irrelevant. She has no personality.
He dies in the end permanently.
Like, we talk about Cole having no character. Pixel truly has no character. She likes Zane. She's Zane's robot girlfriend, sidekick. That is Pixel.
Yeah.
now
So,
guys,
anyway, I'm done.
There is some good news.
Go on.
Thankfully, even though, Ronan was there, even though Vinny wasn't. Thankfully.
No.
Dareth was there. Thank goodness. The best character in the entire show made it in, because if he didn't, who knows? I might have been really angry, but he is there! Dareth!
You got the girl!
The best character!
I think.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Sorry, cats. The music is not copyrighted.
Oh my gosh.
I made sure of that.
Let's end this because we got to get ready to go see our movie.
All right.
Oh, dang. Yeah, we do.
At the end of the day, I really do like Ninjago. I think they did the best they could with the constraints. I appreciate their interaction with everyone, answering questions, and quelling our concerns. And I hope this wasn't too egregious or offensive. We do really, actually, genuinely like this show. And I am genuinely looking forward to the next season.
Yes, late 2019. Woo!
We might not stop complaining, but we're also not going to stop watching. So if anyone from the production team watches this, that is what we have to offer. We are dedicated fans, I promise you.
Yes.
We love your product.
Dedicated.
And
was it the math was done earlier with based off of what they told us, and based off of what we've gotten so far, this next season could possibly be back to 13 episodes.
I don't know how I feel about that, but
we'll see. Which could mean a mid-season finale, which would be even cooler. But
yeah, that's fair. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I'm content for now. So, do we want to tell everyone what next week is gonna, or not next week, but next episode is gonna be? Just to kind of...
Next podcast we're doing is going to be a Lego Movie 2 spoiler review.
I know that.
Just to clarify, you keep saying next week, and I know you know, I'm just saying for the fans.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be a ring match. Next NinjagoCast is
rematch.
going to be ring with a G.
Okay.
Ring in the ring.
Mhm.
Okay. Cole. I don't even want to say versus. Is it really versus?
It's versus.
It's a Cole debate.
It's
Okay.
versus.
Okay. Cole versus
Sad.
L. Cole
Cole
versus Liwa.
Yeah, although the episode will be titled Liwa versus Cole, because,
No, Cole versus Liwa sounds much better.
Liwa versus Cole, a battle royale between diehard Bionicle fan LJ and diehard Ninjago fan
Kaz
Haley.
is right. If this turns out really well, can we make an epic rap battle? Just like based off of our points?
I
Because
mean,
I would totally do that.
I am Schrodinger's Liwa.
Regardless if I get
So-
destroyed, because I think it would be great to do an epic rap battle.
I don't rap.
So in the
yeah.
ashes,
I'm
in
white.
the ashes of March of the Oni, we shall find solace in the way we always do, with dumb, pointless arguments that will have no impact on anything, but they'll be funny.
Yes,
So
Cole
let's do
may
it.
not have much character development, or he may not have a spotlight in the show. That's because he puts his spotlight in other people's faces,
Oh.
while
Okay.
Liwa remains an archetype.
Okay.
So we're gonna have a lot
Oh,
of fun
lady.
in the next episode.
This is gonna be this isn't even gonna be close. This is just gonna be
Dear Lord.
when I get going
Yeah,
like
I'll-
I did earlier, it's gonna be an avalanche. You're gonna be at the bottom of the hill, and it's just gonna be arguments, compiling evidence, just swirling around in a giant mass coming towards your house, going and you're going, oh no, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna die. And Zane's like, don't worry, because it's an avalanche and that's snow, I will control it. But then the avalanche reveals it's actually rocks and it kills Zane and he's like, he shatters into a million pieces. And then Cole's like, don't worry, I got this because it's rock and I can control it. But then it reveals
day.
it's actually a giant ball of crystal and it kills him. He's like, oh no, I've been defeated by my hubris. And then Liwa comes in and is like, don't worry guys, I got this. And he blasts it to pieces because he's so cool.
I'm gonna be the impartial ref because you might think
Uh,
I'm biased. Haley.
Ven is actually going to be
actually agree with.
Ven is going to be the impartial ref.
Dear
Oh,
Lord.
Ven is gonna be the impartial ref.
He has said he
Has
wants
he
to be
even
the impartial
seen
ref.
Ninjago all the way
It doesn't
through?
matter. It's gonna be a
my
great
God.
episode, I swear. It's
Says
gonna
the
be a good
person who went through all of Liwa when he was. Okay, this is okay.
time.
That's
What?
not even.
What are you trying to get at?
I don't know. Pick someone who I don't know doesn't know Bionicle and doesn't know Ninjago.
The
to be
impartial ref has way more experience in one field than another, thereby making him partial. That's what she's getting at.
Okay. In that case, I mean, we don't have an impartial ref. It's just we have one that's not invested
Pick
in this.
me, I can't remember anything.
I mean, you're the closest we have, but because you've been popping in and out, I'm not sure I want to.
I don't know if I want to.
Purple, what did our discussion make you think of the episode? Do you want to go watch it or not?
I just want to see the scene that was really well animated.
That's
Which one?
basically
The whole season.
all of the episode. We'll film
That's
these
basically all of
incredible.
Ninjago except for
Yeah, there was no singular
Yeah.
scene in this episode that made me go, wow. In fact, there were scenes like the fight kind of wasn't good, and the scene where the Oni showed up kind of looked
Yeah.
low budget.
hopefully
So-
in HD it will look a lot better because yeah,
Cole's fall was well done. It looked good.
that was really good. We watched that today and I'm like, this is so good. I love this. I love the no dialogue. I love this. I love the show. I love the show, and the animation's so great, and the music is so great, and the voice acting is so great. I just
LJ put us out of our misery.
I can't
Misery.
do that.
Misery.
I mean,
misery.
Misery.
you're still with Haley, so no, I'm kidding.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
I'm very happy. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm glad you're very happy.
Spoken like
I'm
a true
LJ. Nice to
single
meet
man,
you.
LJ.
Oh, got him.
I'm sorry.
Hard.
I didn't realize you came out of your
He's not
hole to
single,
make
he's
quips. Anyway,
Yeah.
we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. Hopefully you have had as much of a good time as we have. Thank you so very much for listening. Wait, oh no, hang on. Okay, sorry. I couldn't hear the music for a moment. Thank you so very much for listening. This has been NinjagoCast. The dojo is closing. I have been your sensei, LJ.
I have been Mesa.
And I have been Haley.
And we have been the masters of Podjitsu. We will see you all again another time for very exciting confrontation. A battle royale between Haley and I as to which one's better, Liwa, Toe of Air, or Cole, Master of Earth. See us then.
Master
Farewell.
of what?
Earth.
I thought he said Master of Mirth. I'm like, what the fudge is Mirth?